All right, is this thing working? I think this thing's working. All right. Hey, what's up, Ted? What's up, Monkeytron? I was just gonna give you a link. Um, yeah. So shout out to Monkeytron for mentioning me the markets were dropping. I was actually uh, predisposed with other things, but we do have a fairly significant market event potentially happening right now if we don't have another one of these crazy bottoming candles. Yeah, mostly cash. Yep, that's right, Ted. Mostly cash is good right now. Um, yeah, everything just flipped red. Even AVAX we talked about in the power hour. You know, we were looking for AVAX for a place to sell, and this morning we kind of had that place to sell, and it's kind of been a garbage show ever since. Pretty much straight down. Everything right now appears to be breaking recent support. Let's check out Sol. Sol breaking. Actually, no, it's not. I'm not on log on that chart. There we go. So Sol still has yet to not break support. Hey, what up, Don? Day's pretty good. Not too bad. Yourself, my friend? Yeah, nothing good today. All right, let's see. Are we gonna see another bottoming candle? It's been kind of the month of bottoming candles. We have a bottoming candle every single time we have a big drop. But this one taking out this candle is a little bit different. Hopefully, if we're gonna have a drop, we will end up at least dropping on the daily time frame. We can go ahead and zoom out. I'll just zoom in on the daily itself. Pretty much broken down from most things at this particular point in time. We were looking for support at 41. That obviously is not happening. So we are kind of headed a little bit lower. Volume a little bit muted, but today it will probably increase over yesterday's volume. You can see right there that we are pretty close to yesterday's volume, so we should end up probably firmly lower. At the same time, a bullish note, we're still above this trend line for whatever that's worth right now. Ted calling for 36.6. I'm assuming that's for the next. Hey, that's actually, oddly enough, right where my trend line ends right there. Really, Christina? Well, aim it towards the sunshine and it shall be cleansed. That's going to be the new tagline for my show. Aim it to the sunshine and it shall be cleansed. You got to be in the Slack chat room to know what that's about. And Derek with the win right there. It's a pleasure trading with you, gentlemen. Derek, perfect. Make a meme out of that stat. Don, you do that, right? You're pretty good with the memes. Make that happen. Stat. I've seen some good ones lately. Let me show you one. I think it's over in the random. In random, Vlad. I think Vlad posted the one of the day. Sold floor today so I can buy more digital pictures. That's very solid. Very solid. Definitely top three. Definitely top three. That's a good one. I'll bring the 2 hour back. Looks like we are bouncing a little bit. So don't you go shorting quite yet. This market, unless you're holding it short, but yeah, every time we try to have a significant drop, this was our biggest one, and that one's not even that significant. Most of these other ones have been bought up. This one, if you try to short a breakdown here, you probably got stopped out unless you had your stop up here. The one thing we've been saying recently is we have to take out a high of some kind, because right now we have not really been taking out highs. We tried this 47,566. We were unable to do that. We noted the languishing volume. And then overnight, boom, it just dropped down, and now another further drop down today, culminating in what right now to be another huge bottoming candle. So this is not a time to, in my opinion, not a time to be taking huge positions, even if you think we are bottoming. The daily time frame is asking for patience. Is pretty much what it's doing. It's saying, hey, we need to have some patience. Whether you're holding Bitcoin or whether you sold Bitcoin at some point and are looking to get back in. Everyone pretty much should have a level where they're thinking the market is essentially going to go completely flip trend at this point. And for a lot of people, we are reaching those levels. Just a tad choppy. Yeah, right, Terry? Smoke cigars in a Victorian style at the back of the boat and wait for this bitch to sink like true gentlemen. That's cool. I can go with that. Pleasure trading with you. All right, make that a thing in Slack. Someone will pick that up, or they won't. They got good stuff in the chat. You guys are funny. You guys make me laugh. So the real question is, what's your position? That's the real question. So we did bounce off of a low, off of here, and that has been the trend. And we're actually still in that trend. We haven't like fully broken it, although we really don't break a trend like that. This is technically still kind of our first base, which is a little bit scary. Hey, what's up, Mohammed? Take a jump back in and save us all. Yeah, that's what I did here. So just trying to hold on for dear life on that. I bought all of that. That was me. The Blair. It's the Blair. What's up, Blair? Alex. Hello. Good afternoon. Good evening or good night, depending on where you're at in the world. All right, so we did bounce all the way back at the start of the show, a whopping 6 minutes ago. We were a full-blown red candle all the way down here under 40,000. So finding support once again at 40,000. We were having 41. Looks like we should move that to 40, a larger round number. Stalling here, I think 52, almost 53. Finding support at 40. We still are trying to find support. We're finding a little bit, but we're still trying to find actual support. Joe is willing to eat his scrotum. I do have to say the amount of genitalia eating in the cryptocurrency community is disturbing me, and I'm handing out pamphlets so everyone can seek professional help. That feels like eating a genitalia anatomy member. I don't know if that's how that works. Someone here want to work on a startup? Don, what you got? I'm always down to work on a startup. Story of my life. I'm actually working on one right now. How will we breed? We won't. That's what cryptocurrency does. It will remove breeding from the human race. Speaking of memes, there was another good meme. I don't know if I can find it though. Half at a time. I love the crypto community. My sense of humor, I'll tell you that much. 40K looks good for right now. It does for now. For now, the problem is all this quasi-bottoming action so far hasn't been a tremendous amount of bottoming. It's been likely just some short covering is what my estimation. But it's hard to say exactly. What I think is happening is there's obviously going to be some short covering, but I think they in the markets are just scooping up some Bitcoin as it drops, and then they'll buy a little bit, they'll let it come back down, they'll buy a little more, and then whenever they're done selling, then they'll stabilize it out. It'll get going. What we've been talking about in the Power Hour, really for the past month or two. No, it can't be a month or two. August, so about a month. I guess about a month is this scenario. Almost made a public video out of it. I still may do it, but obviously I got other things I'm doing. And Bitcoin has kind of changed its behavior. In my opinion, it's changed its behavior since the ultimate low back in 2018, the December 17th, which is when Bitcoin usually tops or bottoms on that day for the past 6 years. So we had a very quick parabolic move, very quick parabola into a topping pattern, and then we had a 50% decline. And if you ignore whatever garbage coronavirus action this is, you actually go sideways for a very extended period of time. And that's what I'm hoping we're doing here as well. We had a parabola up, we had a 50% decline, and now we are trying to form some type of higher sideways consolidation. And I've had this box here now for a while, and we're right at the lower edge of that. And that's what I was talking about today in the show, is that these are the days that these are the really difficult days. These are the days where some people may want a long, and it could be a good long, but if the bottom falls out of you, you're gonna regret that long. For most people, I would say a vast majority of traders, individual traders, it's much better to wait all of this action out and see if we do formulate some type of sideways action. Maybe it doesn't exactly fill out my rectangle here, but it's, if we can go sideways and hold higher lows, that means that, hey, while there is some distribution, it's nothing that's actually going to, kill the markets. So the RB dying edition, that's the question we're trying to answer in 10 minutes now. 10 minutes 45 seconds since I hit start streaming. We've actually been able to bounce a little bit. So we're not completely out of the woodwork yet, but yeah, we're not completely out of the woodwork yet. We definitely still have a lot of work to do when it comes to Bitcoin. If you're looking at the rest of the altcoin market, which we follow every day during the show, it has been a journey. Let me tell you that. AVAX back to positive. Wow, that was pretty quick. That was pretty quick right there. Joe, we don't do jokes here. Everything is literal. It's text based. I'm going to take you to court. I expect scrotum eating come November. How's real stock market doing any better? Actually, I was just loosely watching the market, not tremendous amount. The stock market yesterday had a very interesting showing with a reprieve from the lows, but overall, I do think it's similar to Bitcoin. It's in a choppy market situation. There's some macro things happening globally, I think, and it does affect Bitcoin, believe it or not. I used to think the markets were not correlated, but I have basically changed that opinion. There is some correlation. It's not a one-to-one correlation, but there are considerations because most of the money for crypto does come from the stock market. So if everyone is reducing risk, crypto gets pulled off the table as well. So it's not a one-to-one. For sure. There's also something else if you're considering stock market. You can look at some of the derivatives such as the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, signified by GBTC on the over-the-counter exchange. And one thing about GBTC, we don't cover this a lot in the show. We have a lot of other stuff we talk about. But it is a little bellwether. I have noticed that if GBTC isn't really getting that expansive, a lot of volume increasing, then the general Bitcoin market never really quite takes a major interest. It kind of meanders around a little bit. So we'll have to see if that changes at some point. But so far, you can kind of take the derivatives. BTC1, this is the futures market for Bitcoin. It's pretty much in a low benign volume situation. GBTC low benign volume situation, and BTC also low benign volume situation. So if you're not seeing some of the stock derivatives get a little bit froggy, then odds are Bitcoin's going to have a difficult time going up because it's just another picture into the Bitcoin ecosystem with a slightly different perspective. But I do think it's fairly valuable. We should look at those a little more often, Monkeytron, in the Power Hour. China. Bloody damn. Why? What's going on with China? Did that company go bankrupt yet? Property default. Did that happen yet? 1 day ago. How about today? Anything today? Well, good night, Don. Yeah. You going to bed, bud? All right. Enjoy your evening, or I guess go right to bed. Are you in your bed? Just have to close your laptop? Thanks for the super chat, Don, but I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to wash some money, I've got a good washing machine in my laundry room, so we can work on that later. Exactly. I used to be like that. I used to have my computer in my bed and just close it and just fall asleep. All right, man. Have a good night. You too. Stock market sinks on China property market worries. If you don't know, there's a company in China. Now, this Evergrande thing, this is new to some people. I've known about Evergrande for at least 22 hours. So I don't know where you guys have been, if this is new to you, but yeah, at least about 22 hours or so. Hey, what's up, Jay? How you doing, bud? And Jared's in the house too. All right. Think we got everybody here now. Think that's everyone. So there's this thing in China about a very large property company, China Evergrande. I'm not even 100% sure what they do, but apparently they own $300 billion in debt and they can't pay it. So they may go out of business. But and China is apparently not going to step in. They're thinking it may move over into the other markets other than China, which I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. China's government may step in. They said they're not going to, but they may. And I don't know if that's what's affecting BTC, but here we go. Another bottoming candle. Another bottoming candle. The second you think this thing's going to roll over, it just bounces right back up. But at the same time, Bitcoin still has not made a higher high. Not really. We did have this area up here for a few days, but really the inability to get higher there, leading to the rollover here. So a minor high, I guess 2 minor highs, but on this leg it's almost been straight down. So your divergence on the 2 hour here on the RSI is pretty real at this stage of the game. 2 lower lows there, 2 higher highs in the RSI. March 2020 again? I don't think so. I think there's some people that are thinking that, but I don't think there's no catalyst for March 2020. March 2020 was not a Bitcoin isolated incident. It was coronavirus related, obviously, and we don't have that right now. So while I think some people are likely scared of that, maybe that's why we're seeing these bottoming candles, is because if we'll have 4, 5, or 6 of these, we'll just go sideways a little bit, scare ya, and then we will hopefully end up at some kind of benign area and move on to my current theory on the market, which is that we do something like this. And then we just go sideways, scare the crap everybody for a couple of months, and then we are able to move back on to bigger and better things. And that's it. And really, that's that. Hopefully that's the case. Yeah, the cloud. Let's go ahead. We've been doing some work with the Ichimoku cloud. I got introduced to it with an educational series I was doing, and one of the fellow instructors in there was an Ichimoku person. And I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of neat now that I know a little more about it. I was familiar with Ichimoku, but I never looked into it or was very familiar with the principles behind it. I just knew it had this cloud thing, and that was all I knew. So I know a little more about it now. I do think it's an intriguing addition to a trader's toolkit, especially if you're a technical trader. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a primary or a secondary indicator, but it's pretty interesting. So you can check it out, and if it's something that you like, cool. Otherwise, you don't have to use it. What I found so far is that technical analysis and Ichimoku, they kind of go hand in hand. They kind of augment they kind of augment each other. One thing that Ichi got right really well was this breakdown here at the 53,000 level. It did really well on that one. So only a small trend line break would have really gotten you out there. But Ichimoku looks like it did a really good job. So, like any tool, it's not going to be 100%. Ichi's going to show you one thing one day, and just regular TA or chart patterns or fibs are going to show you something else another day. So you just have to utilize your tools and respect them for what they do. Ted says we're hovering around the 50% fib on a lot of crypto. You talking about this recent decline here, Ted? Let's check it out. I do have my fibs for some reason. Bam. Yep, you're right. We are hovering about the 50. We got a little bit between the 61 and the 50. I saw some Fibonacci. Someone posted some Fibonacci thing the other day, and they mess with the Fibonacci levels. If you mess with the levels, is it really Fibonacci? And did you know 50% is not a Fibonacci level? It's not. You can't have 50% as a Fibonacci. The Fibonacci sequence is 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. Then 2 plus 1, then 2 plus 3, then 3 plus 5. It's never going to give you a 50%. So 50% this is just a shortcut tool. Obviously, people, 50% retracement's pretty natural. It's kind of a round number there. So, but anyway, that's my rant about Fibonacci's. Yeah, we actually right now we're settling out about the 50%. Looks like about 2.5 hours left, and we will have some pretty elevated volume today. Probably. I don't know if we'll be over yesterday's volume. I don't know. Fibs just work because people think they do, but that's good enough for an edge. Exactly. Doesn't mean I can't yell at people misusing fibs, like changing the numbers. I can still yell at people. That's my job, damn it. Yelling at people. If you like being yelled at, join the Power Hour. No, I'm kidding. I don't yell at people. I should yell more. It's more fun when I yell. Okay, so all right, a good bounce on Bitcoin here so far. We're dropping off, and let's go to the 1 minute time frame. I don't really live down here, but when you're looking at times of bottoming action, it can be good to get a real good indication on whether you have more distribution or accumulation here. So this is the volume aggregation tool. This essentially looks at buyers and sellers based on the close of each individual candle, and you can see the sellers here in orange. And each of these crosses is what's called a pocket pivot on its own time frame. So these are daily pocket pivots, and these are 1 minute pocket pivots. And we do have quite a few pocket pivots, not really too many green pocket pivots as of yet. Oh, just saw a pop up right there and a slam right back down. And you can notice by my volume aggregation tool that the sellers do kind of firmly have control. Buyers did come back here, kind of met the sellers. And if you look at this histogram, the sellers do appear to have mostly control over the current situation. Doge is holding. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Volume aggregation tool in the 1 minute, very fond of Doge though. Doge has the unenviable position of kind of being stuck in a bear flag after breaking down from our major trend break. And it's been, yeah. What's the better buy, ETH or BTC? Geez, I guess what's your time frame, Blay? I don't know if either of them's a good buy right now, to be honest with you. I don't think either of them are a great buy. ETH is just breaking down here. Looks like there's a larger trend line it's contending with, going all the way back. So I don't think either of them is really a major fantastic buy, to be honest with you. So here's the thing between ETH and Bitcoin. Generally, ETH is going to give you more percentage gain, and Bitcoin won't drop as much. In other words, ETH is more volatile. So it just depends exactly what you're looking for. But at this moment in time, I really don't advocate taking positions in these moments. We've already been shaken to the downside a few times. So any tight stop loss, if you're going to have a tight stop loss, it's in danger. If you're just going to buy it, you can do that. That's a choice you can do if you like to buy on these dip days. I don't think either is bad. Obviously, ETH and BTC are number 1 and 2, so I think they're really good. PJ reminding me to remind you to hit the like button because, people are listening to PJ. He said 4 likes, and I'm showing 18. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. I do have to go in about 20 minutes. Got to pick up my kids from school. I can go a little bit after 20 minutes, but luckily the market isn't selling off into the abyss. So we were talking about, are we dying edition? So far, we're not dying. So the answer is no, we're not dying. What's up, Mantis? Walking into the room with a dab? Is that how you open your board meetings? That's how I open my board meetings. Nobody ever remembers. Yeah, I don't have an option to like my own video unless I go into it and like it. So let me do that real quick. Let's see. I'm gonna like my own video. Here we go. See if we're gonna get the Zoom screen of death. Let's see. I love it. You out of here, PJ? Look at that. So you want to know how much lag is on the stream? Right there. That's how much lag is on the stream right there. That is kind of funny. I think I am breaking time right now. I'm having this is I don't know why that's so much fun. All right, I'll get off of that though. I'm sure I just gave somebody vertigo. So I do have a disclaimer about getting vertigo on my stream. So no lawsuits coming my way. Aha. All right, so we do have the reprieve from that selling pressure. It was looking like we were going to attempt to fall apart, and we have bounced back up off that 40K level. We actually, you know what? It's another round number. A lot of these lows have been firmly round numbers. So this one is 39.6, 40,200, 42,500. I wonder if there's a percentage difference there. No, because it should be a straight line if that were the case. I'm not sure how come. Maybe they're just kind of picking random lower numbers to support the market, but that appears to be what's happening. And once again, like I said earlier, like I said in my power hour today, we got to get over a high. This 43,683, that may be the high just for some stability, if we can do that. Autumn, is it the autumn equinox? It is feeling a little bit cooler out here in Arizona. I may have to go do some work in the garage at some point. Pros don't use round numbers, do they? Well, whether they're pros or they're not, they have enough money to make that happen. So, I guess they're pros in one way. But it is an interesting phenomenon that they're using round. It's almost like I don't know if there's a limit order down there, or if the algorithm they write just finds it. But it is definitely odd that there are very big round numbers, very big round numbers, and they're fairly random, like 39.6. I don't think that's of any consequence. EGLD BTC just broke out. There's a nice rebound for EGLD. We added this alert level, looks like 2 days ago. 52.13. We did find some resistance there earlier today, so a little bit of a bounce back with some of these layer one blockchains. AVAX is now up 6% off of a pretty strong bottoming candle. This is versus USD. Shorts are getting covered on thin books. That's it. We're going down again, you think? Yeah, that's why it's hard for me to advocate buying at this time, because it's just too uncertain. Really, really too uncertain. All right, Blood, take it easy, bud. That's your plan to wait it out? Yeah. So the AVAX sale this morning would have done really well. But this is a nice reprieve. So the same thing happened earlier this morning at the open. The market was falling apart a little bit. We bounced back and actually continued bouncing for quite some time. So AVAX right here really putting in together a nice 2-hour candle. We were diminishing volume. Now we have higher volume over here. So that's not too bad on AVAX. Yeah, I'm a little more impressed with it now than I am this morning. Able to bounce back, showing that 7%. Where Bitcoin is actually, we were looking at Bitcoin, I think it was down less than 1% when we were first looking at it, and now it's down a couple more percent. But AVAX able to bounce back after a pretty extreme drop right there. So very encouraging. Our market leader is Solana. Leadership can change. We're looking to see if AVAX is going to take it over, but so far, I don't think it's doing it. But Solana, in what is turning out to be kind of a higher volume downtrend, it's not really low volume anymore, especially with yesterday's candle and then today's candle. But if we can close higher, that'll be something. But this morning we added this 145.01 alert level. Instead, we took out lows. And while this is another good hammer candle, you have a good candle here and a good candle here. And we still are able to undercut lows. So anything with a tight stop is in danger at this time. You're looking for more broad support, which we don't quite have yet. NU coin, I don't really think I have a big opinion on NU coin. The chart is pretty much garbage, at least versus BTC. And versus the dollar, it's a complete breakdown. So this isn't a coin that looks like it'll be good at some point, probably. I don't know much about it, and based on the charts, I'm not that interested in it. I'm pissed if AVAX goes. I've been watching for so long, expecting the breakout. Not now, please. Yeah, it's yeah, every once in a while that happens. It's hard to pick exactly when it's going to happen. It's really difficult, and you have to have a lot of conviction. But I don't know. I don't think AVAX can pull it out. I just don't think that. I don't think it can do it. It's nothing necessarily bad against AVAX, but the whole market ran during one cycle, had another small leg up, going into recent highs here. But other than that, it's been, a little bit too languishing. And the volume's a little bit too high. It never goes low volume anymore. So if it holds up here and then we can break above that 69.06, I think that would be really good. But, if the market if we can, and see, this goes for a lot of altcoins right now that are kind of in some, quote unquote interesting areas. If we can hold up on BTC above that I'm still going to say 41,000, because that's been the level that we've been hawking. If we can stay above the 41,000, if Bitcoin can, even if it has a couple more attempts to the downside, but can stay above there, altcoins could get interesting again and relatively quickly. So you're going to have to really keep an eye out. It's going to be a fairly fast reversal if it does happen. That's the one thing we've seen in the past. So if you look at this area down here, and then you take a look at Sol, which is our market leader. Sol goes from, this is the same thing, July 21st. That's Bitcoin's follow-through day. And I mean, you probably couldn't have guessed when it was breaking here for the first 3 or 4 days, 5 or 6 days, that it was going to go on up, from $30 to 200. But at some point, you just kind of have to buy in, and whether we're at this low or this low or this low now, at some point, maybe maybe AVAX will get that next large run, and you just kind of have to jump in. Volume didn't step in until a little bit later, which was still a great place to get involved at about the $50 level, even the $60 level at all-time highs. And then it just kept going, and $80 was a pretty safe break and a pretty safe move up there into the 200s. So yeah, you kind of it's interesting when you're looking at when to jump in, because sometimes it's very scary and not so clear. And it looked like Bitcoin was going to lead for a little while coming out of those lows, but then Solana just came alive and blew everyone's doors off. And then obviously AVAX did too, with their $180 million investment in their ecosystem. Let's see. Gate.io or KuCoin? That's a good question. I actually don't have experience with either of them. So if anyone has any votes about using Gate.io over KuCoin, please feel free to shout it out. The swapping markets are okay, but yeah, some of them do have some pretty expensive fees. I will say, if you're looking to get some of the smaller Solana coins or the AVAX coins, you're going to have to move over to their wallets. They don't have some of those on some of the exchanges, so you're going to have to go into those DeFi ecosystems, which is a little bit intimidating. And if that's something you're going to do, I extraordinarily highly recommend using small amount transfers to test if it works. I knew somebody that lost $3,000 because they transferred on a wrong blockchain. So there you go. And I'm sure a lot more people have lost a lot more prior to that, but that was a recent example for me. Would we want the daily RSI on BTC to reset before considering? What do you mean by reset? Let's go check it out. So the RSI currently, it's in a relatively low place. We've been drawing some trend lines on the RSI here, as you can see. Obviously, hoping for a bullish market. We broke out of this trend line. Actually, you know what? How did that end up? Because we haven't looked at that particular. Okay, so that was our current trend. We were hoping for this trend line to break. We're actually hoping for it to break over here, but we continued following it, and then we broke it here. And then we had our follow through day. So, and that was our last bull market that we've been in here for the last, was it 2 months? Yeah, almost exactly 2 months. So we've been in that bull market now for a couple of months, and then now we kind of undercut everything, and we're getting back towards some pretty low levels. It's retesting the previous RSI trend line. Which one are you talking about? Oh, thanks, Solo. Appreciate it, bud. Extend this one? Oh, that's what you're talking about. So one thing that we noted a couple of months ago is we were drawing these declining trend lines on the BTC daily RSI, and it seems to work out pretty well in a majority of circumstances if you have a little bit of patience and a little bit of wisdom, because none of them are always exactly the same. But if you can get some good touches on your trend lines, you can come up with some pretty good entries off of RSIs. Each of these, well, obviously got choppy here, got a little choppy here. They did eventually, lead to a shift in trend. Same with this one, which is what we were looking for a few months ago. So now that we have this, we're in a bit of a different situation. We don't really have a very good trend line, in my opinion, to go off of. That's pretty aggressive. That may be the most aggressive trend line. This one's pretty aggressive as well. See, that one ended up with a pretty quick dump down. Then it rebounded very quickly. Let's go back and check out where that was in price. Looks like that was, okay, yeah, that was right here. So that was right up there, right before a larger move up. So, today, boom, you get a move down. We talked about sideways action. I hope that's what we get. I hope we can wear this out. But so far, we still have that distribution remaining, which is a bit unfortunate. So we have bounced up even more now. See, these are tricky markets. Anytime you try to short, you get punished in this market. The only short, there have been some shorts that are working, but they were on the side of the altcoins. So we identified a Head and Shoulders on Cardano a couple of days, actually when it was up in the right shoulder. Maybe that was FTX or FTT. We'll talk about that too. This actually, oh, look at that. It even more fully fulfilled the measured move here, guys. So if you guys are not members of the Power Hour, we go through all the top 20 coins and we identified some breakdown patterns in Cardano and FTT. And so this one getting down better. This one looks like fulfilling the 75%. I also have a theory when it comes to any measured move, and a Head and Shoulders target is a form of a measured move. If you reach 75% of the measured move, that's basically a hit. I've seen enough times where the measured move doesn't quite get fully fulfilled, but if it hits 75% like that, you can essentially call it a hit and, kind of look for the next move after that. So both of these, Cardano and FTT, both completing their measured moves out of these Head and Shoulders patterns. Pretty intriguing. Then you have Cardano right now, all around nice little bottoming candles. Earlier today, we talked about Head and Shoulders patterns. I would assume most of those have been blown apart. Ethereum not looking as good as some right now, actually. I guess BTC does kind of look the same, doesn't it? ETH got blown apart a little more to the downside. JS, thoughts on XRP SEC lawsuit? Recently got an article out of Fox News and honestly seems to be the best shot in forcing regulators to regulate. I'm not very well informed on that, to be quite frank with you, Jay. I did hear today that there's going to be some cryptocurrency legislation going through Congress. So I don't know if the XRP thing is necessarily going to be a huge issue going forward. But, I mean, XRP as a coin itself, which I know that wasn't your question, but let's take a look at it since we're here. Also, kind of bounce it back up here. I don't have a big... Yeah, sure, Virus. Absolutely. Take it easy, bud. Hey, what up, Mexican Charlie Lee? What caused the sell-off? Selling. That's what caused the sell-off. I have good sources on the inside that say that the sell-off was caused by selling. So, you're welcome. It's just a continuation of the pressures in the market is really what it is. But yeah, I don't know with the SEC and what the government's going to happen. I mean, right now most of them they're not really. The funny thing about the crypto space in the U.S., other than the fact that they really hate traders, is the fact that they just want to make sure that they get the tax situation right, and that they can quote unquote, regulate what they view as a security or whatever the heck it may be. Past that, I haven't seen anything negative about being able to run a blockchain or them trying to push blockchain out. It's all been around trading and taxes and things of that nature, which is really annoying for people like us. But it's not necessarily stopping cryptocurrency from taking a foothold in the U.S. It just pisses us off because it affects us, and that is normal. Anything that affects you, you're gonna be happy with or pissed off about. It's kind of the way it is, Tax situation's a nightmare. Yeah, it's annoying. It's very annoying. There's different methods of accounting when it comes to trading. I recently saw a different type of accounting method, and it has to come from the futures market, I think. I don't have a lot of information on this. I was going to look into it when we came closer to tax season again. But it had to do with account balance in, account balance out. So obviously that's probably going to be like a more honest way to do it, because if you're looking at DeFi swaps and going to all these different blockchains and you're staking and you're getting settlements every day, or if you're on Pancake Swap, I think that auto compounds every day on some of those contracts. I mean, yeah, it could be a nightmare because that would be considered a crypto transaction. It may be fun to get audited just to watch the IRS go through the steps there. I don't know, but it's definitely less fun than it could be. And yeah, it's just impossible to keep records, just all over the place. I mean, you can do it, but just it's the worst thing in the world, quite literally, for taxes. I don't think there's anything worse than that. Even prostitution rings have a have a better way of dealing with taxes than crypto. So yeah, it's pretty, all the prostitution rings I'm familiar with, you know. Okay, let's walk down top 20 real quick. We do appear to have a reprieve from the selling pressure. We have bounced up. We haven't, again, no higher highs though. We are getting some of that buying pressure, but really no higher highs. So Ethereum, this is going to be annoying, isn't it? I have to move that every single time because everything's so low. All right, Cardano, same thing right there. BNB, you know, give me a second. Let me adjust this. There we go. Bottom margin, 25%. Perfect. All right, SOL with another high-ish volume bottoming candle, still yet moving lower. Oh, that's BNB. There's SOL. And that is the SOL's volume has actually been increasing as we get lower. If you notice here, here, and here, even prior to that. This has been a very interesting downtrend for Sol. By the way, if you guys hadn't noticed, Sol was our leader. If you didn't know that, you need to sign up for the Power Hour because you're not doing your job right. I mean, Sol led us on the way up. It basically topped us out. Sol topped early, and it's still leading. It's definitely still leading. So you have to pay attention to this coin. It's an important one. It's definitely an important one. It does remind me of early Ethereum. It really does in its price action and kind of the way it's controlling the market right now. Now, we've had market leadership in the past that was fleeting, but this has been consistent, especially this run. So now saying we go down, yeah, we can go back. Just because it's a leader doesn't mean it can't go down. It just means it goes with the market. No, I haven't done Atom J. I'll do that in a little. It's not in my top 20 list, although it should be. I haven't updated it in the past couple of days. XRP lower. There's XRP in a second exchange. Dogecoin, lower volume, also lower. But none of these charts look good. Uni with another new low. Link with another low. Bitcoin Cash, who cares? Litecoin rolled over, also kind of who cares? Luna, been waiting for this one, but been waiting for a while. Yeah, it can lead us down, Monkeytron, exactly. That's what a leader does. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't want to go back and... Oh, you know, one thing we did with SOL during the... I don't want to do it again. I got to go... Oh, it's 3:01. I got to roll real quick. One thing I did, though, is in the show the other day, we did compare Ethereum to Solana technical action. It was almost exactly the same. Almost exactly the same. So I do think Solana's got a bright future ahead of it. Have heard of SNX? Yeah, that's synthetics, right? Mexican Charlie Lee? Yeah, that's an interesting one, synthetic asset. So there's AVAX, able to have a higher low, which is definitely bucking some trends. So AVAX also showing some leadership properties. And it did move up a little bit with Sol, but lagged a little bit later during the cycle. So did Luna. Luna did as well, but... All right, guys, I do have to bounce. Thanks for joining me today. Fortunately, the market kind of got a reprieve from selling pressure, although we have yet to really firmly bounce higher. That is something that's going to have to happen at some point in order for the market to recover. If you do like my insights on the market, guys, do remember I do have the Real Crypto Power Hour every single day, and we've done a pretty good job of keeping with especially the alts in this cycle. It's been a pleasure working with them, but right now it looks like the market is really trying to establish this as a low or just kill it altogether. And it still hasn't quite made up its mind. But the more time it touches, the more times the more times it's down here, and the quicker it's down here, the more likely it is just to fall apart. So you have to keep in mind that, at least for me, I do believe this level here is fairly important right now. So, all right, everyone, I got to bounce. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.